This is Task Force Harrier by NMK. It's a pretty standard kind of military styled vertical scrolling shooter, and there's not too much to the mechanics. As you can see, you just kind of have your normal shot that goes straight up the screen, and then you have the ground bombs, kind of like in Xevious, but there's no target, and you can actually equip different kinds of ground bombs that have different characteristics. And the most unique part about the game is that each level is comprised of two different kind of phases of the stage. The first one being airborne combat, which is the one we're starting out with here, and the second one being kind of a more bombing mission where your kind of straight ahead shot even aims toward the ground and it doesn't reach all the way up the screen. And that's where most of the scoring comes in. It's pretty simple. You just have to destroy as much as you can in those bombing run parts of the stage. And I don't know if there's any like secrets or anything more to the scoring. I didn't look too much into it. I did read one Japanese player's kind of guide for this game, and it didn't really... It was mostly just like a blog with their thoughts on it. It didn't really have too much in depth. So I'm not sure if there's more like depth to be accessed in this, but I'm just going to kind of go through my strategy for clearing it. I don't have a ton else to say about like how I feel about the game. I think like many NMK games that I've played, it's just got really solid, just fun shooting fundamentals. If you can stomach the kind of older or the straight military aesthetic and the more kind of dad shmup feel, it's got some cool level design, some cool enemy layouts and bosses that I'll kind of talk about why I think they're interesting, and it's just a fun, simple shooting game. So the first kind of mechanic we'll talk about is the way that you can use your options. You'll see I have the missiles equipped for my little options right now. They look like little jets to either side of my bigger jet. And the missiles home in, and they're much more powerful than what I'll eventually pick up and use for most of the game, which is the kind of blue spread shot. But for this particular boss, I like to take it down because if you let him get too far, he'll start moving down the screen, which is actually kind of dangerous, more so than you'd like in like the first level. So I like to just take him out quickly with those missiles, and you can actually get to the missile power up looks kind of like a shield. So you pick one up and then another drops, and you pick two up and you get to the second level of power, and your level of power transfers from one kind of option to the next. So now you'll see this is the bombing run stage. I've lost my options, so this is kind of a different thing. Your options go away. Your front shot, your normal shot, reaches kind of about a third of the way up the screen, and I've upgraded my bombs a little bit here now, which is the B items with 1, 2, or 3 next to them. 1, 2, or 3 being the type of bomb that you're picking up. So that one's 3, so I'm going to pick that up, and it's like these very rapidly firing large circular explosions, which is decent for this level. And I'm just destroying all of the buildings, all of the tanks, anything that appears. I'm just taking care of it and getting 100% of the stuff killed, including the kind of boss enemies. These bigger tanks will get you 100,000 points at the end of a level. Anything less than that, even 99% of stuff destroyed, I believe, will drop your score bonus down to 50,000. And I've actually never gotten less than 50,000, even at like 87% stuff destroyed in the bombing level. I've seemed to just remain at 50k. So they're really emphasizing just destroying everything in the level, learning where everything is, learning how to take it all apart. And I think it'd be fun with like a little bit more granularity. Maybe like 87% got you like 8,700, or sorry, 87 1,000 points. Like, that would be interesting. But nope, it's just basically 50,000 or 100,000, depending on whether you can take it all down or not. So here I switched to the blue spread option, which is the one I'm going to stay on for the remainder of the game. There's a third option, and this is the item that looks like kind of like a red and white flag with an F on it. Not sure what it means, but there it is right there. The third option, and so now this one is fully powered up. The third option is like a super powerful, like high damaging straight ahead missile. And I think it would be helpful if you were recovering and you wanted to have a really powerful forward-facing shot really quickly. But I never really felt like I needed to pick it up. I always felt like I had enough power to deal with bosses and the kind of tankier enemies. So that one seemed a little bit just sort of not, if not useless, just like definitely not my style for the way I wanted to control the screen in this game. You can see how like heavy the Zaco come in, lots of, in large numbers and in big wide spreads across the screen. So this weapon is just really what you want for taking care of those guys and not having to worry about them too much. Just for the record, there's the shield that gives you the missile weapon if you so desire it. And I think at this point my shot is totally powered up. So we're at max power here. And I've got a very specific way of dealing with these helicopters. You just stay in front of one, kill it, and then move to the next one until there are 3 left, and then don't move underneath the third one and quite to kill it. You kind of just stay to its side, and then when there's 2 left, they'll launch those smaller purple shots. You dodge those, and then you finish them off. This boss is cool. It's got this kind of middle mini carrier in the center of it, and then it's got all of these guns on the side. And so the middle carrier eventually drops off, and it blocks your shots from getting to the guns and blocks you. I'm not really sure if it actually damages you if you hit it. I've never experimented with that. But most importantly for this boss, once you destroy all the little white side guns, if you have this option set up, you just stay in the middle. Don't get psyched out. Just stay in the middle, and it pops out these silver guns that will have a really quick 3-shot spread that will kill you if you hesitate or like you're off to either side. It's best just to be in the middle, and those guns die immediately. You never have to deal with their fire, and you just take that boss down. So now I have the bomb number 2, which is, in my opinion, the best bomb in the game, even though it's less damaging to like a big tanky enemy that you can get right up on. What it allows you to do is stay farther down the screen for safety and take stuff out way up at the top of the screen on the ground, which is very good. So this is another bombing level, so I'm trying to destroy everything, and ooh, that was risky. You got stuff, just like any good dad game, you got stuff like coming in from the sides and then the bottom that'll just really quickly snipe you. Played enough Same to be well used to that and prepared for it. So yeah, you can see the usefulness of the 2 bomb and just like being able to stay further down in order to deal with these tanks. Best way to deal with this is kill 2 of those groups of 4, the group of 4 tanks really quickly, and then just like dodge and figure out the safest way to kill the other 2, but just be up at the top of the screen to take 2 out fast, so you can not have to worry about full on fire from 4 tanks. And there was one other thing, like the train car. This boss is easy once you figure it out. He has these firearms which you can just stay away from entirely if you've got the number 2 bomb. And you dodge his simple little 3. He alternates shooting these kind of tight spreads of 3 from left to right to left to right. You just use your 2 bomb to, dodge those and try and stay center enough that your bombs hit him. And then eventually stop shooting those purple bullets, and you can just take him out really easily with your full-on shot. And that was, again, I think another 100,000 bonus that I got there. I think I start to not do as well on those bombing missions, maybe from now on, or maybe I get another 100k or two, we'll see. Music in this game is pretty okay. It's kind of like crunchy, super duper lo-fi, late 80s arcade stuff, rock chiptunes. I thought it was all right. Nothing special, but fits the atmosphere and the vibe well enough. These guys, you gotta stay up on the screen like I did, and then kind of get back underneath them once they've come fully into formation, and they're not too hard to take out after that. What you can't do, or what I had trouble doing, was get below them before that. So I recommend just kind of like staying up at the top of the screen during that section, waiting for them to get fully up on screen, and then going back down and killing them. This guy is incredibly easy. Even at low power, you can do this, or at least in my experience. You can sit right underneath him. Make sure if you have the spread shot that your two middlemost spreads are hitting him, and he'll die very, very quickly and float down the screen. When he floats down the screen, he's close to death. Always got to be careful of these single guns that are on the ground. They shoot, I believe, in random directions, or like maybe it's semi-random. It's like semi-aimed. Not exactly sure how they shoot. You can see it's really quite weird. Not at all aimed. And so those can really fuck you up if you leave them alive when there are other enemies on screen that you have to stream, or guide their shots. You just want to kill those as quickly as possible. And I haven't mentioned it before, but when there's a group of them, the brown colored one, or like the off colored one, if you kill that one, you kill all of the group of guns, which is helpful when you've got a big line of them like that. You only need to aim at one with your line of bombs here. Yet again, seeing the usefulness of the two bomb here with these boats. These boats are full of those little white guns that will shoot, again, this kind of weird semi-aimed spread at you. It's just really nothing to dodge that if you can be all the way down the screen. And then once you take out all of the guns on both the front and the backs of these battleships, they explode, which is just feedback for you to know that, okay, they're dead. All their guns are gone and you don't have to worry about them anymore. Easy boss if you're at full power and you have this particular setup. It becomes a little harder if you have to get up close to them. It's kind of fun that way. Sometimes the safest way to play a game is not always the most fun, and but I'll take that every time when going for a clear of a game that I don't absolutely love. Alright, so next bombing mission. These guys just release single missile shots straight at you, or straight downward, and then they'll eventually home in on you. But it's just easy enough to kind of stay in front of them directly and just wipe them out, because your fire obviously counters their missiles. Now we're going to try to, we're in power up avoidance mode. We don't want to be getting any other bomb type, so got to be wary of that, because sometimes these bomb 1 and bomb 3 will start dropping a lot. The game doesn't really want you to have bomb 2 for its entirety. If it can help it, it wants to force you into bomb 1 or bomb 3. So definitely be wary. That's a tricky part, because there's a line of tanks on the far right that you have to deal with, and that bomb 1 is always dropping there. I've picked it up before and just been like so annoyed, because you don't get another one for like multiple levels if you drop your bomb too. Okay, very easy tank boss here. You just have to kill what's around it, and then once it starts moving, you can point blank it. The only thing that's hard about it is, ooh, that was a little tricky. Made that harder than it needed to be. The only thing that's tricky about this boss is that it has so much health. So if you want to get your 100% bonus, you gotta really, really damage it a lot. And so as you can see, I'm just kind of circling up to just make sure I don't get hit by its 3 spread, because the hitboxes are pretty big in this. And then I just barely destroy it with the 2 bomb before it floats off screen. And nevertheless, I still don't even think I hit 100% on this one. Let's see. Oh, I did. Okay, good. 100%. 100K.
Roger.
And the game is, if I haven't mentioned it before, it's 6 levels, 6 pairs of an airborne level and a bombing level. So it's kind of 12 mini stages in total. And now I think we're starting to see more. This is like a level full of these very tiny tanks moving across the screen. And what you got to know about these guys is that they will shoot you, but you can seal them fairly easily from a decent distance away. At least I think so, just based on my, my playing and feeling it out. And then once they fire their shot, they're not going to fire again for a good long while. So you can kind of eye them and see them fire off one shot and then go and take them out. And that's useful to know, especially if you have one of the less powerful bombs that requires you to get up close to them. This is a tricky part, because those, you're waiting a long time for your 2 bomb to get off to get one of those groups of 2 small tanks, and if you miss it by chance, and it's always possible that you do, it's really, really hard to dodge both that helicopter fire and that tank fire at the same time. So definitely a part that you want to kind of mentally prep for if you can remember that it's coming up, and be ready. This part's mostly just about taking out the homed fire of the jets while also keeping in mind the ground enemies. Again, you can get really kind of freaked out by how many ground tanks are on screen, but like they don't shoot that much. So it's really good to just, oh my god, that was really close. Almost death. It's best just to focus on the airborne enemies if you're going to focus on one thing more than the other, and take them out and not worry so much about the ground tanks. This is a fun boss. The way that it's designed is cool, I think. It's very simple. It shoots the fast spread of 3 on each side. Then it releases 2 ships on either side, one of which you can, of course, destroy, or both if you're down in the middle. And then a bigger, wider, slower spread of bullets. And that's it. And then it just circles around and gets lower and higher sometimes. And it creates a nice little flow of you just like circling around it, timing so you can get to, let some shots off on it, especially while the ships are coming in, like I just did there, in between the fast spread and the slow spread. And then you circle around and move up, and then sometimes you have to micro dodge. I like the whole feel of that boss. It's fun.
They're our guys. Return to formation. Stand my target.
This is a tough bombing level. It's good that I am at full power because it makes it much easier to deal with. You see these, ooh, I probably almost picked that bomb 1 up, but I like to get rid of the smaller tanks on screen as quickly as possible, and then just sit in the middle here, because they're going to bring 2, if not 3, of these giant tanks on. And if you sit in the middle, you know, unless there's extenuating circumstances or like one of them gets really low on the screen, you're good. You can just sit there and kill them, and their spreads won't hit you because they're aimed at set angles. So really it's the same deal here. Just when you see small tanks start to appear, you know, prioritize killing them, because they can really get you into trouble if you're having to dodge their fire while dealing with these larger tanks. And then in this section, I just like to do that same thing, but you just have to kind of be aware of what's going to happen with the larger tank fire after playing it enough and practicing. And it's easy enough to kind of dodge through that, just as long as you clear the screen of the smaller guys. Again, a fun boss encounter here where you've got the 2 tanks on either side letting out these little soldiers who move down the screen and eventually will start shooting you if you don't take care of them. So you swing from side to side, macro dodging the fire from the big tank and dealing with the fire from the smaller tanks and the little guys that they're releasing. And it's just like on its surface, it seems like very simple design, but it creates this really satisfying movement that you do, and dodging it feels really good, especially when you have bomb 2 and you don't have to be up on the screen at all. Oh, see, 97%, 50,000. Rough. All right, here's where a little bit of memorization comes into play when like they're bringing stuff in super low on the screen. You're just gonna want to favor staying as low as possible in this level. Even while these helicopters are shooting you and you're micro dodging through their purple circular spreads, they're bringing these planes in, these tiny planes, constantly at the bottom. So you can't move up really at all. You just kind of have to sit down here, dodge from side to side like it's Space Invaders almost, and just hope that nothing, you know, a stray homing missile doesn't tag you in between your, you know, auto fire volleys. That's one thing I didn't mention actually, is that there is built-in auto fire in this game. It's not the most perfect. Like, you can see there are like big gaps in both my option shots and my main shot. And I'm not exactly sure whether if you set a different rate in MAME or something like that, or with a turbo on your stick, if you'd get like massively different behavior. But I felt like I would just use, you know, if they were going to provide it, I was just going to use the built-in. And I think it's fine. Rarely was I, you know, getting hit by stuff in between my, you know, the gaps in my shot. So I don't think it's a big deal. They bring a lot of these same like dual propeller planes that you have to deal with 2 at a time. And you just, if you're at the bottom, it's just a matter of, you know, being decent at dodging through the 2 layers of those. And then, man, is it nice to have bomb 2 still for these ones. Because, like, if you leave those guns alive, which you almost inevitably will if you don't have bomb 2, they'll really mess with you as you try and dodge these bigger planes. These bigger planes, of which there are, like, many in this boss fight, are really tanky, and they will just keep shooting you as if you miss destroying one. Even as they're this far down screen, you see that one is still shooting me. So it's really in your best interest to kill these as quickly as possible. But it's not easy. I almost died there. They do not seal these fucking planes. And again, here come the little planes from the bottom of the screen. So if I were like up more trying to point blank that, and I'm not entirely sure whether point blanking makes a difference. Oh, stupid. really tough death because I was seconds away from getting through that level no miss. Just that last shot down at the bottom as the plane was leaving the screen got me. So this is a good opportunity to talk about recovery. You go down to not full low, not all the way down, but like mini levels down in both your bomb and your regular shot power level. So you can see I'm on bomb 2, but it's so pathetic looking. Like this little dinky line of tiny circles. And it's even, whoa. That was crazy. It's even more pathetic looking at ultra low power. But luckily your forward shot in bombing mode, or in these bombing run levels, is pretty powerful. And I'm leveling it up quickly with the S power-up items. That's your shot power-up. I don't know if I mentioned that before. And again, luckily, where I died, it just happened to be before you pick up a good number of number 2 bomb items. So now I'm back up to full power with my bombs, and it looks like back to full power with my shots. So at this point in the game, recovery is not that difficult. They're really throwing a ton of resource items at you to get you back if you die. Because the game is really rough without being underpowered. And I think that's sort of what, in my mind, differentiates this game from a lot of its peers at the time. Like, this is still... Oh, by the way, real quick, strategy for this boss: stay all the way to the left and right, and you'll kill these tanks really easily. And then you can deal with the middle boss. And this guy got scared, and just, I had taken a death, so I really didn't want to take another stupid one. And I didn't think that I had gotten 100% destruction up until this point, so I figured, why not just let that guy go? And, I just didn't want to risk it.
And out.
Yeah, 84%, not great. I forget what I was saying before I started talking about the boss strategy. So hopefully I can get back to it at some point. This, I believe, is the last airborne level. Oh, I was talking about the game is kind of different from other vertical shooters from the late 80s because it isn't brutally difficult. I mean, I know I'm decently experienced now in playing these sorts of games, and for a beginner shooting player, it won't be easy at all. But for an experienced shooting game player, this is really a manageable clear. It's a fun one. I definitely enjoyed learning it. I just wish the aesthetic were like a little bit more interesting, but it's decent enough. It's got some cool explosions. It's got decent enough music. This is pretty easy. Luckily, I got my options powered up to at least level 2, where the spread is actually useful. Tricky dodging here. Kind of got to react to that. Alright, I got my options leveled up to full now. So I think we're back. I think we're fully back. This boss is rough, and I'm, again, very happy that I have the number 2 bomb, because you can see up at the top of the screen, not only do I have to deal with this gigantic plane that I have no room to kind of maneuver around it, but there are all these little guns, and in this diagonal line up the screen that you really have to take out quickly, or their random ass shots will be added to what this plane throws at you, and it's very, very rough. So even without any of those guns, even if with all but one of them destroyed, it's like, this is not easy dodging. I know there's slowdown, but the hitbox is not big, and look at that. I mean, that's pretty messed up. I'm not sure if I should have like gone up to the top of the screen right here, but it certainly doesn't look like it, because those, these groups of guns are sitting there. So that was about as well as I've ever handled that particular boss. Just like some clutch dodging, and almost every other run before that, I had taken a death there. It's really tough, that one. But luckily, that's the last airborne boss, and you have only one half level, the bombing run left after that. So taking a death there is not too bad.
They're our guys. Return to formation.
All right, Flying Murder. So, interesting thing about the game that I found out from some YouTube kind of task clear of it, or a long, quote-unquote long play of it using save states or whatever. I found out that there is a bad ending that you can get in this game, and the only trigger of it, or the only trigger of the good ending, is you have to kill all of these gigantic white planes that emerge from these hangars. It seems really hard to not do that, but it is possible, and if you don't do it, it'll be like, missiles rain down on Earth, you've failed. And if you do kill them all, it just takes you to the second loop and says, the enemy is still, out there, you've got to go again. It's like, nothing huge, but kind of interesting that they put, like that is a true completion requirement, to kill these 3 big planes. Not particularly tough last level, which is kind of nice. Again, the NMK games kind of nice, kind of chill. They could have been much more brutal with it. But they're like, okay, that giant plane that you fought last half level, that was brutal enough. This is kind of just like a cinematic set piece almost, where this plane is about to take off and destroy the universe, and you rip it apart. Boom. I can only imagine you wouldn't be able to take those out if you were really like super underpowered. Which I guess if you take a stray bullet in that level, it's not impossible that you would be underpowered. All right, Loop 2. Congratulations, but the enemies were not destroyed by your attack. Commence next operation. Loop 2, I think this game might loop infinitely. I don't know. Don't quote me. It might just be 2 loops, but this one definitely is not that hard compared to Loop 1. It's like there are a few extra bullets, there's a little bit extra bullet speed. Some guns that don't fire in the early levels do fire at you. But on the whole, I found up until, I guess stage 3, big stage 3 of Loop 2, my strategies for everything in Loop 1 were working. It was not troubling me that much, as you'll see. Ugh. Maybe I lied. Those giant missiles on either side of that little helicopter definitely seemed tankier than in Loop 1. I don't know. Hard to say, really. So I decided I waffled there on whether to keep my spread shot or get missiles back. Like that's my Loop 1 strat. But I definitely I just didn't see this enough to be able to strategize. All of this is me. This is not a good Loop 2 demonstration. All of this is just me reacting without much practice at all. So this is an example, this ground gun right here, it does not fire at you in Loop 1, it definitely does fire at you in Loop 2. Alright, I really don't think this guy changes much. His bullets are just a little faster. You gotta watch out for the pairs of destructible missiles that he shoots. If you're not really good about watching those and you get your missiles timed wrong, they can definitely sneak in and kill you for a really annoying death if you're in Loop 1.
They're our guys. Return to formation. Stand by target.
Alright, doing good. Nothing too crazy here, nothing too hard. It all just kind of, again, feels like the Loop 1 bombing run. Especially because you just, the way this is set up, it encourages you just to destroy stuff really fast before it even gets shots off at you. Alright. Really aggressive up on this tank to the right with everything I've got, and move down the screen when I'm feeling that it's going to do its spread fire. And then once that tank is taken out, the one on the left is pretty easy. Just gotta be wary of these smaller things that it brings in at you simultaneously and lay the bombs on, and no problem. Alright, 100K.
Commence operation. Roger.
Ah! I wasn't expecting that. They don't do that in the first loop. Just send that triple shot straight down. So that was a surprise to me. I did not catch how I lost my bomb 2, but we're back with it again now. Very helpful to have in this level. I can't really tell whether I don't know that I like a Loop 2 that isn't different enough from Loop 1. I mean, it's kind. It's the you know, the humane thing to do, but like I kind of want a loop 2 to be a big ass jump in difficulty. It seems like just a little, I don't know, there's something like lightly annoying about it just being the same but just a little bit amped up. It's like it was teasing me. I was like, oh well, maybe I'll get the fucking 2-all. But then at some point I do feel like it just really brought the heat on. We'll see when exactly that happens. But like again, why not just do that from the beginning of the loop? Alright, let's see if this boss is that different. So much slowdown. Oh. I always appreciate when I can do some micro-dodging in a game from the 80s. You know, hat tip to the developer for realizing that that's the better way. Here I'm demonstrating the stay in the middle again that I mentioned before. Super important. I don't know why the jet like judders like this. I don't know if this is like a MAME bug or what, or if it's supposed to do that. Maybe it's some CRT bullshit where it like looks really cool on a CRT for some reason. Does something, some visual effect. Oh my god! Crazy reaction there. Should have been dead, probably. But managed to make it look like I paused and save stated my way through that or something. Getting rid of that 3 on the screen and sticking with my 2. These bigger guns in this bombing run still don't fire anything as far as I saw in this loop. Okay, here's the 4 tanks. Take out 2 of them, then kind of get your bearings and dodge and take out the other 2. Oh, these are much faster. But there's still slowdown to help you out. And then he'll just kind of sit there in the middle for a while, get some bombs off on him, and then at a certain point he'll go right. And that's when he lays off the triple shots. Right here should be, unless in this loop it's different. No, it's not. So no more triple shots, and he just sits there and eventually he'll come down the screen, but he will stop again. If you're all the way at the bottom, you'll be safe. And unless you're really low power, I think you'll kill him before he presents a danger to you. Another 100,000. That's good. Alright, this might be the level where it starts going a bit haywire. Lots of Zocco in this level, and then you've got your like single ground guns that with unpredictable aim. Here again is the moving up the screen with these planes strategy. Just there's lots of slowdown, so it's pretty easy to not get clipped by these smaller planes, and then you just weave your way back down underneath them and kill them. And I was nervous that they were going to be doing different shit from Loop 1. And, oh, I think they did maybe. Or no, see, those little guns from up at the top left, I should have dealt with those quicker. I didn't, and I got clipped by one. And now we get to see the third power-up of the game, which I haven't even collected before. This straight-ahead, super powerful missile shot. I didn't really want to pick this up. I just couldn't avoid the power-up after the death. Alright, as it comes down the screen, you know it's dying. Boom. Really sucks to have this. This is, I think, the lowest level bomb 2. Look at how pathetic it is. It has to take 2 bombs to kill one little gun, and you have to get pretty close to them and just sit there forever. So this one just sucks at low power. So if a bomb 1 or a bomb 3 comes up, now I'll switch to it gladly. And I also really want my spread shot back. These high damaging missiles are useless right now. Okay, so now I've got to be super close to these boats and sit on top of them forever to kill their guns. And this is going to be where it all ends for me, I think. It's just too hard at low power. Loop 2 really would not be that hard if you no-missed a lot of it like I did the first loop. But the minute you take a death, it's like Loop 2 recovery becomes way, way, way more difficult. We're doing okay here. Maybe I get out of this level? Nope. Okay. Yeah, just not powerful enough to deal with the Zako and worry about bombing stuff. But cool game. I really thought this was decent. It's not like it's not the greatest thing in the world, but if you're looking for just like a fun kind of shut your brain off shooter, old school, you could do a lot worse.